Hi guys, this is Sai Kumar Kurtiwada. In this video, we will learn about JavaScript variable. Before going into the coding part, we'll try to understand what we'll cover in this particular video. So let me quickly jump into one more slide. So here we'll see all these concepts. So what are variables? So variables are something like a storage. So when you want to store some data or a value or any type of data, then such things are called as variables in JavaScript. And there are two types of variables, which is local level variables and global level variables. We'll talk completely about local versus global variables in the future videos because we need some other concepts to cover these variables. So I'll talk about local variable and global variable as well. So now let's go with the third concept called as rules of creating a variable. So for creating a variables, we have certain rules. That rules should be followed. And fourth thing is we'll cover const, let, and var. So we'll cover a basic part of const, let, and var. Once we are going with the functions and conditional statements in the further videos, I'll cover mostly what are the different cases which we can cover by using const, let, and var. So now let me go into the Visual Studio Code and write some set of variables. So here I have a HTML file and this HTML file and there is an index.js. So I can create some set of variables inside this index.js and I can use them. So not only running this JavaScript in browser, you can run the JavaScript even in the terminal. So if you want to run only the plain JavaScript, then you can use terminal. But if you want to use terminal with JavaScript, then you need to have a node application which is installed in your system. So if you install that node, you can just use that node and we can run this particular JavaScript file. So how to run the JavaScript file in terminal, because we'll only work with JavaScript as of now and till certain videos or till few videos we'll be learning only JavaScript. So no need of interaction with HTML. So let me remove this HTML and what we'll do is we'll create some set of variables. So if you want to create a variable, then you can create the variable in JavaScript by using var keyword. So let's talk about first thing called as var keyword. So var is a keyword, that is why it is showing in a blue color in our Visual Studio Code, and followed by any name, whatever the name you want to give, you can give. For example, I want to give something like age, and what I want to store in this, I want to store some number because it's a age. So let's store something like 10. So don't bother about the data types or the number, string, all this. I'll talk completely about them in the future videos. But for now, I'm storing a number into this age. So now, where is a keyword? So the syntax is very simple. Let me comment this and write. So we have a var keyword followed by any name and equal to, and you can assign the value. So that can be any value. So this is the syntax, and what we will call whenever we assign some value. So this is called as initialization. That means I am initializing the value. So these are the technical words which we need to understand. And even you can reinitialize this value or you can change this value in the future. For example, already we know if you want to see something in the console or if you want to see any variables, you can use something like console. So let me go with the console.log. I have explained about warning, error, everything in my previous video. Please watch that if you want to know more about consoles. So now I'm using only the log. So I want to log the age, which is a string, and followed by the age value. So let me add age. So now what it is doing, it is showing a string followed by the age, whatever the age we have given over here. Let me go into the terminal, and if you want to run this JS file alone, so you should be in that particular location. I'm already in that location. So now I can use node space index.js and hit enter. Now you can see there is an age and there is the value called as 10. So here this is how you can print a variable by creating a var keyword. So now let me go with reinitialization. So if you want to reinitialize, that means I want to change the value. So you let me consider a variable as a box. So you kept something like sugar in that box. Now you want to change that or replace that sugar with biscuit. So how you can do is you can just add age is equal to 20. Now what I am doing, I have removed the 10 value and I have updated the same storage with 20 value. So now let me print console.log of after update, and I want to show what is that age. So let me save this. Now if you run the same file again, first till this extends. That means till line number 5, the age value is 10. And after line number 5, age has been updated to 20. And from now onwards, that means from 7th line till the end of the file, this age value will be 20. So it will print 10 over here. Let me write here like 10 expected value, and here it will be like 20. So now let me save this. Now again run this node index.js. So now age is 10. After updating, it became 20. That is nothing but reinitialization, or you can consider like reassigning. So I'm assigning the value again. So this is nothing but an assignment or an initialization. Here we are doing a reassignment. That means we are changing or updating the variable. So now this is how you can use a variable. Let me go with our browser. So what this var keyword will do and where this value will be stored. So let me go here and let me inspect this. Already I'm running this at a server, that means live server. So you can see age as 10 and after update it became 20. Still here it's good. Now let me clear this off. And now what I want to show is where this var keyword variables are storing. If you see the window object, you can see that window object with that particular var variable. So what is our var variable? If you see here, age is our var variable and it is shown on the top of that, and it is showing the updated value, that is age as 20. First time till this line, the window will hold this age variable with the 10 value. Remember, all the var variables you can find inside the window object. So we'll talk more about window object in the upcoming videos, but for now you can store a var variable in Windows object, and you can see that window object only in the browser. So that's why I've been shown in the terminal. So now we are done with the initialization, reassignment. Sometimes you don't know, like you went to a shopping and you thought like there is a box and you want to store something, but you didn't decided what to store in that. So in that case, what you can do is you can just declare a variable and assign the value at any time, whatever, whenever you want. For example, this one I don't know what to store. In that case, what we'll do, we will create something like var. So there is something like a storage, and I'm not storing anything as of now. So what I want to do is later, after some time. So let me use console.log of after some time or some days. What I want to store is I want to store some sugar. Let me consider the storage is filled with sugar. So this is called as sugar and it is of string. We'll talk about string and numbers in the future videos. Don't worry about it. Now the storage value is sugar. Let me console this console.log of storage and the value is storage. So let me give it a small s. Now let me save this and rerun this. So now age is 10, updated age is 20. That is already done. After some time, the storage value is sugar. That means we are storing the sugar value. But before that, what will happen for this storage value? So let me display this value. Let me save this and rerun this again. So now you can see storage value is undefined. So when you don't give any value or don't initialize a value, then such things are called as declaration. So you need to remember these words. Declaration means creating a variable but not assigning the value, where you can assign the value in the future. And initialization means while creation of your variable, we are giving some value and is called as an initialization. And if you see something like sugar, so here we are updating it. That means reassignment or assignment. So this is called as assignment because it is not having any value. If it is already having a value and if we are assigning again, then it is called as a reassignment. So here the storage value is a declaration and I am assigning some value, and whenever I override this particular storage value, that is called as reassignment. So we learned some new keywords, that is nothing but initialization, reassignment, assignment and declaration. So this is how you can use some set of variables at different stages. And if you don't give the value, what is the default value you have? You have undefined. So that's about your basic understanding of variable. Let me remove all this code. Now what we'll do is just let me go here and I'll not give the var variable. So what happens? I gave only age is equal to 10. I didn't give var keyword. So now what happens in the background? Let's see. Let me go here and let me run this. It is absolutely fine. Age is 10. But if I don't give var keyword, will it be stored in our window object or not? Let's go and see that. So now let me go here and just use window object. If you see the window object, it has that age property. That means what JavaScript is doing is, if you don't create any variable with var keyword, automatically that variables are considered as var by default by JavaScript. So it is always recommended to use var. If you don't use var also, JavaScript will treat that variable as var. So now var variables can be created and can be shown on the window object. Now let's go with some other things. So here var we are initializing, we are reinitializing, we are reassigning, everything we are doing with the var keyword. Now what we'll do is, I don't want to store something in the window object because window object can be accessed by anyone. So I don't want to store in that. What I'll do is, I'll create a let keyword. So if you use the let keyword, that let keyword will not be visible on your window object. And there are many other differences. We'll talk more about that. But for now, let will not be created on a window object. So let me go here and let me refresh this. Now you are seeing a age value, but let me print that window. So you will not be able to see that age value anymore. So these all are inbuilt functions. We'll talk more about this, but these are all our inbuilt functions of window. Now we are not able to see the age. That means a let keyword is used to create a variable same like var, but let keyword will not be hoisted or will not be posted onto the window object. This is the first difference of let. We have something called as const. For example, for let keyword, I am not giving any value. That means I am just creating it, and let's see what is the value over here. It should be something like undefined. Let's see that whether it is coming undefined or not. Let me refresh, or you can see here undefined, and even the same thing happens when you run here. So it is undefined. That means even for let keyword, if you don't give any value, then it will be defaults to undefined. Now what I want to do is, I want to reinitialize. So I can reinitialize age is equal to 10. So this is nothing but giving new value to that age. First, it doesn't have any value. Now it has a value called as age. That means you can even reassign for let keyword and var keyword. Now let's talk about constants. So by understanding that const, that means constants, meaning once you assign the value, it will never change. So what we'll do is, we'll create a const variable. So now I'm creating a const variable where I'm creating an age. Now if you hover this, IntelliSense itself it is showing must be initialized. That means each and every constant variables, whatever you are trying to create, that has to be initialized. So now what we'll do is, I'll just use this with 10, then it is fine. But if I try to reassign, it will not reassign because the constant is a fixed value. It will never change. So let me go here and you can see type error assignment to constant variable. So we are trying to assign to the constant variable at line number 5. It is throwing an error. Let's go to the line number 5. Here we are trying to reassign, or we are updating the value of the const variable. That is not allowed in JavaScript. So whenever you want to update, you either use let or either use var. So now till now what we understand is, let is used for not hosting that variable on the window object, and const is used for fixed values and it can't be updated in the future. And you have something like var variable. It can be reinitialized, it can be reassigned, it can be declared, it can also be created without a var keyword. So that is about your var, const and let keyword at a basic understanding. When we are going with the higher advanced concepts, we have other scenarios which differs this const, let and var at different situations. So we'll talk more about that in the later videos. Now, what are the standards to create a variable? So whenever you want to create a variable should always start with alphabet. So first condition is start with alphabet. So it is not recommended to use a number, and it should not have number at all. So if you want to create 1, 2, 3, it is not possible. So let me try and show you this cases. So let me remove everything. And first case is with alphabet. Already we did it. Now what I'll do is, I'll use something like one age is equal to 20. So if you see here, it is throwing an error. An identifier or the keyword can't immediately follow say numeric literal. That means any variable whatever you are creating, it should start with alphabet. For example, I can give like this because it is starting with an alphabet. So that is the second point. Let me rephrase this. It should not have first character as number. So that is about the first two rules. And the third rule is, it should never be a keyword. For example, in our cases, we spoke about three keywords as of now. One is let, and one is where, and one more is const. These three keywords, or whatever the keywords which we will be learning in the future, that should not be used. So it should not be a keyword or reserved word. Some of the words were reserved by JavaScript. We should not use that keywords or reserved words. And the next thing is we should not start any variable with special symbols. For example, dollar sample is equal to sample. Now the fourth point is whenever you want to give a variable, that should not have any space. For example, spaces are not allowed in between for a var or variable. So now what I'll do, I'll give something like first name. This is not the case. It will always think that this name is okay, but this will try to understand this first one. So let me close this or together as a single word. So you can give a single word, and every variable should start with small letter, and it should always follow. If you have two words, it should follow title case, camel case for. So whenever you want to create a variable with two or more words, the second word should have the capital letter. Why? Because it is called as a camel case, starts with small letter, and once the new word comes in, it will use the capital letter. How many new words you are getting in that particular variable, that many should have a starting letter as capital letter, and that is called as a camel case for a variable. So this is about your camel case. And also let me go and tell you that constant variables, it is recommended, it's up to you how you want to use, but constants should be created in caps. So always whenever you create a constant, you have to create in a capital letters. So I'm giving a pi value as 3.14. That means you are creating a constant variable and I am giving the capital letter. These are some of the rules whenever you are trying to create a variable. Keep in mind these rules should be followed, and some of the rules can be optional. For example, in this case I can create a small letter also, it is fine, but for identification purpose it would be easy whenever you are creating a capital letter for constant variables. So whenever they see at some point wherever they are trying to use it, they can understand, okay, this is the constant variable. So now that's about your constant variable. For example, if you try to reassign this value for constant, pi is equal to 4.5. This is the case which we missed. So let me console this, console.log of pi value, and save this. Now go here, you can see assignment to a constant variable. Already we saw the same type of error whenever we are trying to reassign the value. So that's about your variables. Let's go back to our slide. We have covered all this. We will talk about local and global variables. For now, I'm not talking about this because this can be understand once some of the advanced concepts of JavaScript are covered, then you will understand more about local variables and global variables. So that's about your variables in JavaScript. Now, in the upcoming video, we will talk some set of operators, how we can use that set of operators. And before that, we will talk about the data types. So we'll talk some data type stuff in the future videos. That's it for this video. If you like my explanation, like, share, subscribe to my channel for more updates. Signing off. Thank you.